Hello everyone, how we doing? Hope you're all doing all right. It's been a little while, huh? So, this is an accountability live. I have some actions, some behaviors, things that I've done, things that I've said, things that I haven't done or said that I have to take accountability for. So that's what we're here to do. I'm going to be bringing people up so that they can air their grievances. I think the expectation is that, because I'm expecting a lot of guest requests. I don't know how this is going to go, but if we do end up getting a lot of guest requests, I'm going to end up capping it to like 3 to 5 minutes per person so they can come up, say what they want to say, and we'll go from there. I want to stress that I've made a lot of mistakes. I want to be held accountable for those things. I want to show that I can learn, grow, and do better going forwards. Something I will not be doing today is taking accountability for transphobia from other people. There are people who want to use their transphobia today to tear me down, and I will not stand for that. I am here to hear you all out so that you can tell me how I need to do better. We're going to start now and see how this goes.
There we go. Hi, how are you?
Hello, Caitlin. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm sure you remember my name. How are you?
Caitlin, you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. How old are you, please?
Good. I just want to ask you first, before we start, are you okay? And how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I appreciate that. I do need to know your age. Sorry, did I get that?
Sorry, no. I am 25, May 22nd, 1998.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you. We'll do it today.
Okay, so you asked like what you can do to be better, and people do have videos like of your moderators and people that you do bring up, right, that are your friends. And I would say to make it more of a positive live is, instead of putting people down and telling and allowing of the mods to also put other people down, there's a boundary, right? We can't bully people. We can't tell people that they're awful. We can't, of course, there's education for sure, but it's how you educate. It's how you communicate with other people. And telling someone that, or allowing someone that you have your life for sure, but it's also your responsibility to make sure that you're not allowing other people to hurt other people. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, 100%. I cannot be... Everything that happens on my platform is my responsibility first and foremost. So yeah, I need to be making sure that is doing the right thing.
Yeah, for you and your panel, I understand, like, you want to educate, you want to bring out the word and everything, but just making sure that they don't bully other people. There's a way to talk to somebody. Like, mental health is so crucial, right? Especially towards the LGBTQ plus community. I fully understand that, but hurting someone else is also trying to learn or even have a conversation with you, and allowing your panel to even like start putting them down and calling them names and so forth. Like, I would understand, like, if the person, like, let's say if I start calling you names, then it's like, yeah, shut me down, cut me off. But if it gets to the point where your panel's putting them down, it's like, okay, no, right? That's your responsibility. And the last point that I will say to make things better is, when women come up, right, and they say their story, like, for example, when it came with periods, like, I remember you had a post there, like, prove me wrong, like, I'm women, prove me wrong. And there was a person that came up and she was talking about her periods and then you made some comments towards that. She's saying her story. She's talking about her. And it's brave for them to come up and even voice that. So I would say for future, be open-minded because they're being open-minded with you. I would understand if they're being very closed-minded and they start bullying you, then it's like, okay, if you're not being able to be open-minded and have a conversation, then I'm going to ask you to leave. But putting the other person down for their bodily autonomy is also not okay, right? You're trying to bring up the community, not allow other people to put them down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. I understand.
Okay. I really hope that moving forward, just because I do enjoy watching your lives and everything, I hope moving forward that you learn and your panel also learns and understands that what was said and what happened was not okay. Keep it appropriate. Kids are watching. They may not be able to come up and speak with you, but they are watching. And we want to set a very good example. And we want to have a positive space, especially for this community, because as you said before, the LGBTQ plus community is a minority and you want to put a positive change towards it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Awesome. Do you have any questions
Anything else
for me?
you want to say? Not right now, no, sorry.
Well, if you do, don't be afraid to reach out. And if you have anything else to say, don't, again, be afraid to reach out.
Okay.
All right. Have an amazing day.
You too. Guys, I
Hello.
Oh, how you doing?
Hello. Okay, I don't know about everybody else's grievances and whatnot, but one thing that I noticed, and it's not even like just you, but
Hang on. I need your age.
I'm 24.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, so it's not even like just you, but I feel like that like a lot of like trans people, a lot of like YT trans people who hold spaces like this, like I tend to get like a bit nonsensical, and there's like like the whole like grabbing the boob, shaking them, and saying like how can I be a woman with these stuff like that, so that because that tends to lean into the trans medicalism, and and putting people down, and just bringing down womanhood to your body parts and stuff like that. So I get the point of validating yourself and wanting it to be I'm obviously like a femme presenting person, but at the end of the day, that still can be detrimental to the community as well. And I feel like that way to improve the spaces in the future. I think that y'all had to start platforming Black voices, especially like Black voices within the queer community, as well as as accurately representing the things that the ways that Black queer and trans people are affected by things that affect the queer community as a whole. like, cause there are racial disparities in that as well. And that's the kind of stuff that I feel like gets like a lot of like missed out and left out or whatever. Yeah. I think that kind of stuff like tends to get like misrepresented, quite honestly. So that's something that I wanted to mention. And I think that whole Hogan needs to be deplatform whole Hogan in the comments. Yeah. That's how I feel.
How would you propose I do a better job of lifting Black voices, specifically Black trans voices?
I think you just need to like I don't know like what you do on your daytime or like on your like on your like spare time, whatever. But I think as far as like like reaching out like to more like Black trans people and like to get like a better understanding of like their experience and stuff like that. So that way you can like better understand like the stories that make up the statistics. So that way, instead of like regurgitating information that's like, oh, these people are affected, like you're actually able to empathize the situation, like, and understand like, what really goes, like what's really going on in the community.
Okay. Do you have anyone that you recommend off the top of your head, particularly?
I recommend like watching Hope Giselle. She's a really good person to get into. I think also Angelica Ross is really good as well. I also think that you can like just like look up on the human rights campaign, that they talk about Black trans women and trans women of color that are unalive for different reasons and stuff like that all the time, and they get into their stories quite often. So that's also something that you can do. It's just like just look up the cases and stuff. So so that way like you can actually like tell their stories and whatnot, whenever you're talking, whenever like we're bringing up the statistics, stuff like the harm that trans people face. And even how, and you can also like talk about like the masculinization of Black women, because given that a Black woman was unalived for being perceived as trans. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned Hull. As far as Hull is concerned, there was something that happened on my live ages ago, and I believe firmly in accountability, and I had believed that Hull had taken accountability and shown changed behavior. However, Hull has clearly slipped back into his old ways. Whatever changed.
I'm gonna keep it a bean with you, Adora. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't know who Hull is. I don't know who Hull is. I just know they were saying deplatform Hull, and I know some people had like some grievances about that person. So all I know about him is what they said. So yeah, like I just went ahead and voiced that. But for somebody else who's in the queue who may have like more information about Hull, who probably was affected by that person, then by all means. But I don't know who that is.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
No, that was really about it.
Okay. Thank you for coming up.
Hey, can you hear me? Sorry. It's okay?
Sorry?
Oh, okay, I can hear you now. Sorry, it just took a second.
Fantastic. All right.
I just want to, sorry, you're okay, right? Are you okay?
I'm fine. Yes, thank you.
Okay. I just want to say, I don't know exactly 100% of the situation. I did hear some things about how someone may have said that someone should go unalive themselves. I'm going to assume that was a comment made when someone was up in your life being quite transphobic. And I'm not saying that makes it justified, but I just want to say that I feel like you look really like sad right now and like you're down on yourself. And I think a lot of people on the internet just are up on their own high horse and they act like they have never done or said anything wrong in their life. And I just think you're a human being. And I understand it is your platform and it is your responsibility with who you bring up, but I just don't want you to beat yourself up or feel like you're a bad person because you're not. You're a human being and you're allowed to make mistakes. It says about you. It doesn't matter if someone screen records some like live, you know, and like clips it down to like the perfect moment to make you look as bad as possible. I just want to let you know that like you are a good person and I just don't want you to be so down on yourself. And that's all I really wanted to say.
I appreciate you, Kelly. Thank you.
Bye.
You have a good one.
You too.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi. I'm 23. I was born in 2000.
Fantastic. Okay. What would you like to say?
Well, I just want to say, like, I'm really anxious right now getting on, so I can only imagine how you're feeling. I've been a part of this subreddit since pretty much the beginning, and I wanted to kind of have this open dialogue with you. And I'm okay, like, if I don't know. I have like a couple points that I want to like hit. But like I don't want to like drag on. So if I'm yapping, I'm sorry. But one second, let me clear the display so I don't read the comments. I want to say like I want to preface this by saying like you and your mods have really fostered a community where we feel like we can't express criticism. Your fans, your supporters, people who have sent money, people who really, really appreciate you and look to you for education and for, you've really educated me and a lot of people, but in the same breath, you've also platformed a lot of people and given a lot of people a voice that I believe overshadow the good things that you've done. And I'm going to go off of the whole thing for just a second. I know you've acknowledged it, but I want to say, I don't think you guys really saw an issue with his behaviors until recently. And I think that's a big issue that I have with you guys right now, is that for so long, it was so triggering watching how he treated people. It was so hurtful. As somebody, and I'm not even weaponizing my DV, but as somebody who was raised in a DV, you know, experience and household, hearing the way he talked to people, especially women, and men too, but women, it really hurt. And I feel like he hid behind his allyship. I feel like he hid behind this to really take his anger out on people and be a punching bag. And it was really hurtful watching people that you look to and you support, kind of just brush it off and not acknowledge it. And I don't want to speak for everybody because I know a lot of people didn't see an issue with that, and that's okay. But a lot of people have been hurt by this, and this is a big reason why a lot of people, including myself, have kind of stopped supporting. And I also want to say, like, I have mentioned and I have brought up my criticisms before this subreddit, and I've been shut down. And I think it's unfair because I have been a supporter, and I do really appreciate you guys. And it's hurtful to hear Mel and people that I really like, you know, label me as a hate sub or label me as somebody that doesn't like you guys because I'm expressing something that I think is harming the community. I think is harming us. So I'm sorry if this is emotional. I don't mean to go off emotions, so I want to get back onto topic. I also want to say it has a negative impact on the audience engagement. It makes people not want to come up because they're afraid, you know? And I think that's really a harmful thing to platform when you're hosting an educational live. I think it really, I understand it's hard to keep your composure. A lot of people have a lot of passion, but it's also, it's going to hurt the community because a lot of people will just scroll past it and see a member of our community or an ally who has a voice hurting and spewing hurtful things. And I know you've seen the videos of Hull, and I know there's a lot that hasn't been recorded. And I know you've deplatformed him, but I also want to recognize that Mel, Reggie, and other panelists, and I'm not even trying to talk bad about them because I know they're not here, but they didn't see an issue with this and they would laugh at it and they would encourage it. And I don't know if they still see an issue with it. I mean, I've seen what Reggie has said today, and I've seen a like that you had on a comment I want to address really quick. I understand that it's hard to see the hate sub. Not a hate sub. I don't want to say it's a hate sub at all because I'm a part of it. But it's hard to see a Snark subreddit about you. But I think that is the outcome of ignoring and putting off criticism that is valid for so long and labeling it as hate and labeling them as bigots. And I just want to say that. And I just want to say, like, bringing up the toxic panelists just honestly defeats the purpose of discussion lives. I know it gets engagement and I know it brings up viewers, but it really causes a lot of harm by doing that. And I don't know if you recognize the impact it has yet. And I understand the passion, but I think that people go about it the wrong way. Not really you. I wouldn't even say really you, but I've seen you ignore this behavior. And I just see an issue with that. One second. Also, I wanted to mention something. It's an elephant in the room for me and a lot of people in the subreddit. Moderators. I don't know if you endorse this behavior, but I saw in real time the other day on the subreddit, moderators weaponizing people's private information against them. And I don't know if it's a moderator or a fan, but it was somebody that had access to people's information. And I saw that, and I think that was really harmful because we've done our best on that subreddit to not talk about it.
I know who that person was. They have been removed from my spaces.
Okay. I did want clarification on that because that was really scary, especially as somebody that's been participating and somebody that was a fan. Watching that was really honestly disturbing because I just didn't know where they were pulling that information from. But I appreciate you for removing that person and taking accountability for that because that was really scary, honestly. I'm sorry. I have a couple points and I'm just going past them, so I'm sorry if I'm yapping a little bit.
We're going to be here all night, and these exact points are going to be brought up again, and I'll have...
I'm sorry. I also want to just say something that you don't have an obligation to follow schedule 100%. When I watched you a lot, whenever you would be gone, if you would even be 20 minutes late, I would worry about you. And I think a lot of people were really genuinely worried, and a lot of people would join. And I understand it's frustrating as a creator to have people continuously join lives and ask questions about you. But a lot of these people didn't know what was happening with you. They were completely in the dark. And when they would come in, they were met with so much hostility by people. And it was a turnoff for a lot of people. And it hurt. I feel like it hurts in a way. Not even victimizing myself. I'm just saying, like, as a fan, like, I really still like you. So I'm not trying to, 1 second.
No problem. I'm taking notes.
Oh, I appreciate it. I honestly, I can see that you're really trying to take accountability for this, and I really appreciate it. And can I just say one thing about the tone policing? I don't know how to express this, but I think a lot of the time, a lot of people are shut down immediately, unfairly, and told that they're tone policing, when in reality, a lot of the things that they're witnessing is uncomfortable and it's hard to watch, and they see it and they want to point it out and they want to see it just kind of, and it's kind of just put down and shut down. And I think that's off-putting. And honestly, I don't know if I skipped any points, but I really just wanted to bring up those. I'm going to mention something, and I think people are going to weaponize this against you, but I really wanted to hear you clear this up. About a couple of days ago, before you took a break, you said, you admitted, and I don't know if it came from the subreddit or if you admitted it from free will, but you admitted that you had incel values before you transitioned. And you admitted yourself that we don't have to forgive you. And I just want to say that it's not that I don't forgive you. It's that it's hurtful to see that somebody that I held in such a high regard was once a person that really did not like me, was harming me. And I don't know how to express it. I'm sorry for expressing it wrong, or if but I think a lot of people hearing that was a big, huge turnoff for us. And I just want to hear,
don't know me shit.
Yeah, I just want to know what you have to say about that, if anything. I know you addressed it the other day, but I didn't really catch it. I don't think a lot of people caught it. Is there anything you have to say about that? I understand.
Very, very problematic, harmful ideology. I felt that I was such a nice person that I was owed affection in return, and that it was everyone else's fault that I wasn't getting that affection. It couldn't possibly be me or my behaviors or how I was treating people. That is the person that I was, and I don't ask for forgiveness for that.
I appreciate you for acknowledging that and not deflecting, because I think that's a big turnoff with these lives lately, is that the criticism is always deflected, even when it's fair. I'd say a lot of the criticism is really fair, and I know it's hard to read and I know it's really hard to watch, but I hope you recognize a lot of us are actually really rooting for you and just want to see change. And a lot of us are willing to give you another chance, but the way that things have been handled lately is it's hard to watch, and it's hard to support, and it's hard to endorse, So that's really all I have to say. I know a lot of people are going to make the same points.
Feedback here, particularly your early points about acknowledging the pain that people are expressing. The person who shared their story about their periods. It's not just my time, it's my viewers' time as well. And I need to respect their time and let it be known what is happening when I'm supposed to be here. Your concerns about my past, all valid. If there's anything else you want me to take out of this, now would be your time to air it before I go on to the next guest.
I really, honestly, I just want to say, from forward, the biggest change I'd like to just see is just being more open to criticism. I understand when it's coming from toxic people, it's hard to get, so I wouldn't take it from them as much. But your fans, it's hard to be shut down. It's hard to watch, and it turns us off. And I really appreciate you for doing this. And I know you're going to have to deal with a lot of harmful conversations tonight. I know a lot of people are going to be transphobic on here, I'm sure. So I wish you luck tonight, and I appreciate you for acknowledging all of this.
All right. You have a good one. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you. Good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Okay. I want to remind everyone that we have a lot of people that I want to bring up today. Part of taking accountability means that I do have to respond to these things. I can't just nod my head and say, okay, and listen. So there's going to be common threads. People are going to talk about Hall. People are going to talk about Mel. They're going to talk about Reggie. They're going to talk about my past. There's all these kind of things that people are going to be talking about. And I can't just nod my head. I need a chance. I need to be able to take accountability with my words. Please, guys, do not subscribe to me. I cannot turn off subs. Do not subscribe. I'm not sending you because those are off. Do not subscribe. Don't.
Hi. I know there's a lot going on right now. I know. And I used to be a teacher. I'm currently in the military right now, but I used to be a teacher, and I used to go through these hardships when it comes to trans people and the topic and all that. And do I agree with everything that has happened? No, if I'm going to be honest. When it came to Whole, I was against a lot of the things that he said. When it came to you, I think you handled it very well, the best that you could as a host. And I appreciate that. And as a former teacher, I have to say I was not, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. I was not completely for what we were teaching and what we were needing to teach, but you completely reformed me into somebody that supports you and supports the community. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I go live a lot, but I'm nervous when it comes to this because I don't want to say the wrong thing. So I know this was for kind of criticism. And I will say, when it comes to criticism, I stopped watching when Mel and Hull was in your box. And it was the things that they said, it was how they handled things. Because genuinely, I was scared to get in the box and ask you questions, because the way you handled the questions was very appropriate and calm, and you genuinely wanted to teach people what the community was about, if that makes sense. And I'm going to get emotional because I was totally against it. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped teaching, if I'm going to be honest. But I can wholeheartedly say that you reformed the way that I have felt. And I am sad at myself for feeling the way that I ever felt. And Hull made some good points, but he made some very bad points at the same time. And when it came to the subreddit and all that, it got very ugly very quickly. And that's not on you. That's not anybody else. But when it comes to having them on your platform, I think it has hurt you, because I have stopped listening, and it's really sad because I've learned so much from you, so much. And I thank you for that. And I just wanted to be that positive light, but also tell you that the people that you have in your box, it's hard to listen to, if that makes sense.
Okay. As far as Hall, I thought I had seen change. Like, accountability is something that is important
100%.
to me. And I thought that I saw that accountability with Hall. I thought that he owned it, and I thought that he was exhibiting changed behavior. Unfortunately, Hall has slipped back into that behavior.
And that's totally not on you. And I'm sorry for even bringing that up, but
I'm not trying to defend myself here, I promise.
ultimately, I just want to say that I have to thank you, because like I said, I got out of the career that I was in because of the things I was hearing, learning, all that stuff. But I just don't want your platform to be ridiculed and destroyed because of other people and of the subreddit and the Reddit and all that stuff. So I adore you, Adora. And I just think, okay, and you've changed mine, and I thank you for that. And having some of the people in your box continuously, you handle things very maturely and very respectfully and very calmly. And I think that's how you need to go about things. And I think, oh, sorry, everyone's telling me to let Adora respond. Sorry. Here you go. Go ahead.
I'll make the same recommendation that I always make, and that's to not read the chat. Chat's going to be all over the place today. I just wanted to say that I was wrong about Hall.
Yeah.
And for the foreseeable future, I don't see any realistic way that I can possibly platform Hall, because people are right. The behavior has not changed. The behavior is problematic. Mm-hmm. As far as Mel,
That's a hard one. I know.
Mel is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that she's perfect. It doesn't mean that she's immune to criticism or doing things the wrong way or taking things too far.
And it's valid with what she feels, I will say.
I believe that Mel can do better. And I have to believe that my friends can show the fact that they're human, the fact that they make mistakes, the fact that they're not perfect. And I have to believe that I have to give them space to learn and do better. So I think Mel can do better.
And wholeheartedly, I feel like you've handled it very, very well. I will say that, and I'm not up here to degrade anything or hurt or bash anybody. But I've been scared to get up in the box to ask you questions, because I've been watching you for at least 6 or 7 months. And I genuinely, like I said, I've learned so much from you, and I've just been scared because I don't want to ask the wrong questions because you answer them respectfully. And whether it's Mel, Holt, whoever it may be, I just don't want to feel attacked, if that makes sense. And like I've said, you've changed you've changed my whole perspective on it. So
I appreciate you, Emily. I need to make sure that I'm getting space for people to air their grievance.
sorry, so sorry. Okay, y'all have a good night. I'm so sorry. You just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up, Emily. Appreciate you. So I've noticed when I've gone through my guest requests, which I have plenty of, now we have 55 guest requests. I have a lot of people that I think are not here to air grievances or anything like that. I think I have a lot of friends in the requests. If you are a friend, please do not request. Now more than ever, please do not request. This is a space for people to come up and air their valid criticisms. I cannot do better if I'm not listening to what I'm doing wrong. It's nice to hear from people that agree with me, that like what I do. It's not the point of this life. Hello, how you doing? You with me? Is it Jose? You have a bad connection. Yeah, you don't have a good connection, sorry. I am gonna have, because of the amount of people that we have, guys, we're gonna have to keep the conversations quite a bit shorter. A lot of people want to come up. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you? I am 18, born 2005.
What would you like to say?
So I am a subscriber, and I have watched you for several months, and I don't really know too much about what's going on, but the only grievance that I would say I have, and I'm sorry, I'm nervous, is that, for instance, we don't really get, even as subscribers, we don't really get explanations on things that happen. I know the situation with the Mel meetup, you guys really, gave explanations for that. But whenever one of the moderators, have done something wrong, you guys don't really announce it or anything like that. For instance, I was asking what happened to Lyric one day, and I was told literally, literally just to not mention that name ever again. And I believe as subscribers, we have some sort of, not necessarily entitlement, and I don't want to sound entitled, but just, just some sort of explanation,
All right.
And that's all I had. And I do love you, Adora, and I hope you're doing okay. But that's all I had, and I'll save some time for people who may have something more serious. See, a lot of people don't know what happened with Lyric. I didn't either. I was told not to mention it, so All right.
Here's what I can say there. I understand what you're saying. These are people that you've been listening to,
Right.
that you met before, and when they suddenly disappear, you want to know something. You want to know something.
Right. Just something.
I understand that. What I will say, as far as Lyric, there was a separation between me and Lyric. That is the extent of what I'm willing to say there, as it's a private matter. But we simply won't be in each other's spaces.
Okay. And see, just even that explanation right there is perfectly fine with me. I understand private issues are private issues, and that's all I needed to hear. And that's the only grievance I've had with you. So I will let someone else who may have something more important up. And I just really hope you're doing okay, Adora. And I appreciate you having me up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Adora,
Aiden, how you doing?
I'm doing good. So I ended my live because I messaged you. We talked about it, and I had kind of stated my opinion on how I didn't know if this would be the right way to do it, or if not, I don't know. I still don't know. I do think that maybe it is helping some people, maybe it isn't. At the end of the day, I don't think you deserve hate. I don't think you deserve to be canceled. I don't think anything like that. I think that everyone has to learn from what they've done. But no, I do enjoy your presence on TikTok. The only thing that I've written down a couple questions just because I feel like it's kind of necessary. Because you do have a larger presence on TikTok, and your effectiveness, whether that's a positive effectiveness or a negative effectiveness, and I think in the recent months it has been both, and I do think that most of what you do, and I see that your personality from some of the other guests you've had is very different. I think your personality is much like mine in a way where we tend to be very, we do listen more than we talk. And I enjoy that part. And I've told you before, when we first met, I told you I don't really like to do panel style because I find that it can be less effective. Now recently a lot of your supporters or maybe even people who didn't like you, I don't care, have come over to now my platform asking me about you. And obviously, I truthfully think that as a content creator, where you are, what you're doing, all of that, that's your business. And what you choose to share is what you choose to share. But I get all these questions so much that I kind of just thought that these would be more effective questions to ask you. That would actually kind of get a point across. Because I don't do the panel thing, all of that. So I think that this would be a very effective, and it's only 6 questions, and they're very, I think they can be very short. So I just really want to, if you're okay with that, me asking you those questions. The first one is, now keep in mind, you don't have to answer these. These are just the questions that I continuously get from followers / I've had other major creators contact me.
I do understand, but I have a lot of people to go through. Sorry.
I just want to ask you these questions. Will Mel be returning to your platform?
Yes. I have Mel. We've spoken. Okay. Mel understands that there has to be changes.
With that, will she be making an formal apology herself?
That you would have to ask Mel about.
Okay. Will you be posting an official apology / video?
I don't have any plan for that. It's certainly not out of the question.
Okay. Do you think that with that video, the creators that haven't necessarily watched you lately would then see that as a sign of effectiveness?
I haven't put any significant thought into an apology video.
Okay. Do you truly recognize how yours and your guests' behaviors have been in a negative effectiveness?
Yes. Particularly with how, yes.
Okay. And I don't know why I got asked this a million questions or a million times, but where do you stand with Jenna?
Jenna, it's come to my attention that Jenna has said some racist things. Jenna will not be platformed.
Okay. And where do you see a couple ways where you can make change?
Plenty of ways. Can do a better job of making sure people get a voice and that they don't get interrupted. I can do a better job of calling out my my friends, of making sure that the conversation remains calm. I can be more accountable with other people's time. It's not just my schedule isn't just for me; it's for my followers as well. I can acknowledge grievances in a very different way than I have, which to say that I haven't. And I'm writing down a big one here, a very big one, is I can do a much better job of lifting Black transgender voices.
Okay. And the last question I have, Adora, what is your favorite candy bar?
My favorite candy bar, Payday.
What is it?
Payday.
Okay, perfect. Adora, remember, please breathe. And remember yourself. And that's all I have. And I hope you have a wonderful night. And I hope you do amazing.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
You have a good one, Dayton. Okay.
Hello.
On.
Hi, how are you?
Doing all right. How old are you, please? Sapphire, you with me? If you're here, I'm struggling to hear you. You have bad audio. I'm gonna have to move on, Sapphire. I see you're muted. Are you coming back? I have a lot of people to go through, Sapphire. A lot of people want to air their grievances. I'm sorry.
Hello, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you? Let me put my headphones in real fast. Me? Yeah?
How old are you, please?
Oh, I'm 27.
Fantastic. All right. What would you like to see?
I'm just going to be quick because I know you already know you're going to get, the same kind of, stuff with whole and, all of that. But my thing was just kind of about... I don't even want to say that, I feel like everything is taken as, tokenizing, but I'm just sharing this to share that I'm coming from, a supportive side of, the trans community. I used to host debates and all of that, and that would be, my main topic defending. But I feel like there's been some things that honestly has, pushed me away, and one of them is I just survived stage 4 cancer, and actually last week went to a huge testing to find out, and this isn't me whining or anything, but that I'm infertile due to the chemotherapy, right? And I don't know how I feel about that being a debate that you guys always seem to bring up women's health issues or assist women's health issues, infertility, PCOS. And I get where you're, coming from, because it's like when people are saying, oh, can you give birth? Because, not everyone, but I just really feel like, yeah, some women may be okay with that, but it was definitely something that I know a lot of other people were kind of like, and I've been watching you for since you started, right? It just kind of feels like a pawn in a debate. What
would you have me say?
Huh?
What should I be saying instead?
I just feel like you have so many other arguments that you could use and stuff, instead of bringing up something that, women are, very already traumatized by. Usually when they find that out that they're infertile, it's my heart sunk, right? I'm 27. I'm like, oh my God, and then when I come and hop on, and I love watching you, and it's just kind of the immediate tactic is to just go towards women's health issues. And I just feel like you have so many good arguments that you use instead. And I just feel like it's not helping the argument. And I don't want to see, people turn away, because a lot of people come in their middle grounds, and I watch you and you have the patience. I'm not going to talk about other people you have up, but you are really good at being patient and stuff. And I believe that there's people who are really on the middle grounds, and you have that power to push through to them. And when stuff like that's kind of pulled up, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a smack in the face a little bit. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up because I know you're going to have a lot about, the same topics and stuff, but I just feel like you have so many other, good debate tactics, and it's just, yeah, I don't think that's a good way to go about it.
Okay. Was there anything else you would like to say?
Nope, that's it. And you have a good rest of your day. I know this is going to be hard, but you got this.
All right. I've written down your points. Thank you so much. You have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Still have a lot of people in my requests that I think are just make sure, if you are a friend, guys, please make sure that you haven't accidentally requested.
Hello. Hello.
How you doing today?
Oh, I don't know if I can hear you right. I actually started driving after I requested, so can you drop me? And I will request once I'm not. Thank you.
Is that going to be just a moment, or?
Yeah. Literally one singular minute.
I'll tell you what, I'll bring up another guest. I'll bring you up next. I'll try to remember to bring your name up. If chat can help me remember.
Perfect.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Chat, when I drop the next guest, please remind me, please just spam Sabrina in chat. I will forget. Y'all know me, I'll forget.
Hi, Adora.
Hello, Hope. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I am 26.
Fantastic. All right. What would you like to say?
I just feel that you want to be in a woman's space, and you don't tend to take a woman's voice too seriously. When I feel like it's a respect thing. If you want the respect from women.
Okay. Hope, I need to be clear that this is not a debate space right now.
No, I know. I'm just saying that I feel that you should take women's voices into consideration more, seeing you oftentimes just kind of push us completely to the side. You don't really pay attention to our voices, and we get told that we're transphobic for it.
Okay. So I need to listen to cisgender women's voices.
I'm saying women because I just feel like we don't really need to have all the labels on ourselves when we could just call ourselves all women.
I said at the beginning of this live that I am not here to take into consideration transphobia. We are not here to debate. We are here to talk about my methods, how I run my lives, how I interact
I thought this was for grievance.
This is not for debates. This is
I'm not
we are having a
debating.
debate.
All I was saying is that women's voices are not being taken into consideration at all.
I'm sorry, Hope. You are in the wrong space right now. Okay, where's Sabrina? There we go.
Perfect timing. I just parked.
All right, fantastic.
Okay. I'm 23, by the way. I don't know if you were asked that. Anyway,
I figured by the
I
you were,
just
yeah, we're good.
yeah. Okay. I just wanted to come up. I think it's really great that you're doing this. By the way, and I just wanted to share kind of my following with you. So I was following at one point. We've had 2 previous conversations, and the first conversation actually went really, really well. Like, I felt like I learned that. I didn't feel attacked at all. None of the above. And that was with you and Mel. But then the second time I came up, I may have said something like offensive or worded something the wrong way. And I just felt like super attacked, and ended up like not really requesting anymore. And I eventually like unfollowed you and just stopped giving you like any sort of engagement because I felt like initially this was like a space to learn. But then during that second conversation, I guess I said something because I was uneducated or I didn't know that it would hurt your feelings, and I apologize for that. But I just continued getting like kind of attacked for that. So yeah, I think you definitely lose engagement when you go about things that way, especially coming to you as like a cisgender woman, just kind of wanting to like welcome you guys into women's spaces and like understand you guys. Yeah, I just felt like really put down and like upset. And I just kind of, for my own mental health, I like did not like seeing all the negativity on my For You page or anything like that. So I just kind of had to silence you and like most of the other panelists that came onto, you know, my For You page. So I just want to say like, that's just personally what happened with me. So yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I understand. The concern here is that we came in too hot. We were not cultivating a space for you to be able to learn.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm a cisgender woman, and I just want to learn more about like the trans experience and things like that. And I just felt like the space very it's negative, and like instead of looking for like a conversation, I felt like it was you guys were just looking for the next thing to like attack on or like correct people on. And instead of like I felt like this is kind of changed from like wanting to educate people to just wanting to be right and wanting to change people's minds. I guess in my experience, when you're trying to help people understand, you really assume that people are going to change like automatically, right? It's kind of like you're planting this. You've done several times for me. It made me think, and then eventually I've changed my opinions on certain things. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents. But I think after this, you gained a follow back for me because I just like the accountability and how you're going about this. So
Okay, all right.
yeah.
Thank you for coming up.
Yeah.
Was there
yeah,
anything else, Sabrina?
No, I
Okay.
think my audio's bad, so I think that's all.
Guys, I need to take a short break. Give me 5 to 10 minutes. I need to take a break.
Hello.
How you doing, Chaz?
Hi, I'm fine, Adora. How are you?
Doing all right? How old are you, please?
37.
Fantastic.
37 this year, sorry, 36. So you've had some people coming up now and they've been really nice. I'm going to give you some tough love, So, I've been in your live 3 times. First time I came in, I was a little bit kind of, jokey, not jokey-ish, but yeah, oh yeah, you woman's, and after that live, you did make me think. I thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to follow this person, I really like them. And I get on with others. I get on with, Ashlyn, there's Hallie, there's, other creators that I love watching, and I love watching their debates. Soon after I kept coming into yours, I was in there a second time, and we was debating, me and you. Mel, she's like a Jack Russell. She screamed and went mental, and I don't know where this came from. She just started, her face, it just changed into like this angry person. Now, listen, I know she's your friend, and that's not going to change. What I suggest you do is keep Mel off this, because you have a responsibility. You are a trans person spreading awareness, not Mel. She is not a trans person. She is not. She's an ally. She should, if she's going to come up in the panel, she should be completely muted with her camera off, and then if Mel wants to interject, then she can. But when we come up, we feel like we're being savaged by pit bulls, and I'm going to apologise to you, because I've got videos on my profile which I'm going to take down now, mocking you, because after that second live, I was a bit like, that wasn't really fair. And then I came in with the third time, and Wolf was there, and I got on really well with Wolf, and Wolf made me understand a lot of things. I didn't even know what hypothalamus was until I started watching your lives. So I've been educated a lot. But I think you do have a responsibility to make sure that, when you've got people in, what you're trying to do is create love, but what's actually coming off is actually hate. So my suggestion is to get rid of Mel, to get rid of Hull. Mel's your friend. That will never change. But your responsibility as an adult, you're my age, I think, 36, you've got a responsibility. Young people do watch you. I found out the other month, actually, and I've taken him off TikTok now, but my 14-year-old nephew, he watches you. Now, I know you don't like under 18s watching, but they do watch. And there was a picture that went around as well of you in the woods in a denim skirt. I think you know which one I mean. And my 14-year-old nephew saw that. Now, listen, it's not your fault. You don't advertise your OF at all, or your Twitter. You've never said that. You never have done at all. And I can say that you don't advertise it. But, people know you have it and people mention it. So you need to be careful with the youngsters that are watching and the anger that's coming off of these cis women, Mel and Hull, the man, because you're responsible for educating people about your life. And I felt really let down, because I can go in all these other lives and we can have debates. We can disagree. There's no problem with disagreeing. What I don't like is being savaged by the throat and feel like I'm being thrown around like a rag doll. I mean, when I go into Wolf's opinions about things that you might have, and I've been in a few lives where even other trans creators now are starting to go against you, which we don't want. We want all trans people to stick together and stand in solidarity, to educate us, me, quote, bigots on, how the brain works, how you grew up, what happened to you, how this operation, what went on. It's not a comedy show. It's not Jerry Springer. It's often come across as Jerry Springer to me. I think if we was all in the room, there'd be chairs thrown and everything. It shouldn't be like that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing out of this is you don't feel that you were given a proper space to say your piece, to air your concerns, and if you did, you felt that you were being pounced on.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, you do put very controversial backgrounds up, which is fine. It gets the audience in, it gets people talking. I've not seen as many controversial backgrounds as what you put, which is good. But you are the biggest trans creator on the app. You are the one that people talk about. So you do have a moral responsibility to make sure that your platform is safe for everyone. Even, people like me, I would have said, no, that's a man, whatever. I have learned from you educationally, and I'm proud of myself that I've done that. But the last couple of lives that I was in, I just completely felt attacked, and the faces Mel was pulling like I was a disgusting human being, and Hull as well. I mean, it got too far, and I could sometimes tell that, you wanted to tell them to kind of, be quiet, not be quiet, but, calm it down, but they're your friends. It's difficult, so I can understand the situation. But yeah, that's how I feel, Adora. As a person, I really, really want you to be happy, and you're not happy. You're not happy. Every time you come on this platform, there's something that's happening, there's drama, your name's being dragged up in all of this. It's not right. You're here to educate people and for people to learn. So what I personally suggest is you carry on your
Goal for me to get through everyone. I don't know how long this live is going to be. I have no set end time. I want to give people a chance to voice their position. I just don't know how many I'm going to be able to get to.
Hello.
Doing?
Can you hear me? Okay. So
I want to be clear. There's no time limit here. Say your piece. Take your time.
all right, thank you. So first I just wanted to tell the live who I am, so this sort of makes a little bit of sense. I was Adora's first admin. If I get any of this wrong, just let me know, because it was a little bit ago. So I was Adora's first admin. I kind of set up her Discord. She had a Discord before I was there. I subbed for a month to get into her Discord because I wanted to be part of that. And I noticed it was kind of bare bones, and so I offered to help her set that up. I did stuff like organize the channels. I think I created the first forum and the first rules list. In the beginning, when I started, Adora didn't really run her Discord. I think I ran it really by myself for a while, until I had her bring another person up that was close to me at the time, and I had her bring another person up to admin. And then after getting into an argument with that person, Adora brought me down from admin to member. I left for a little while, and then I came back. I talked to her about the argument, and I got kicked from the server, and she blocked me on Discord and both of my accounts on TikTok. definitely affected me mentally. At the time, that person was like my closest friend and really the only real friend I had. And if I was lucky to find supportive friends elsewhere, very soon after. But if I didn't, it could have been a lot worse for me. And I think if this happens more, I think that's, I think that's kind of messed up if this happens to more people. And that was just a background. You don't have to respond to that. If you want to, I'll give you a minute, but I do have questions to ask.
It's up to you whether you want me to respond to that first or ask the questions. 100% up to you.
Well, I just want to make sure that, like, I'm not saying anything that you disagree with there.
I'll respond real quick then. Everything as he just said is 100% true. Every last bit of it. And unfortunately, it's happened a second time to a second person. I am mismanaging my Discord straight up, 100%. It's been shown quite clearly I should not be.
Wanted to understand if you, and then I just have questions about the Discord itself. Because I know a bunch of people are going to be here talking about TikTok, so I'm not really here for that.
Is definitely all part of this, so this is totally valid.
Yeah. So first I want to know why I was taken down from admin, and the other admin wasn't.
Oh, this was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I do remember that. I did not do my due diligence. I did not look into the situation. It was basically a coin toss. I chose to bring one person back. I chose not to bring you back. Could not have handled the situation more poorly.
Okay. And then why was I kicked from the server?
I do not have this. I do not have the permission from the person in question to talk about it. There was something that happened. There was.
You don't. Obviously, I don't need specifics, but could you at least explain, like, because yeah, in your message you said that you don't like how I behaved with multiple members of the server.
Specifically, there was a live that you hosted, and someone in the background was able to be overheard, and some things were said about someone that never should have been said.
I'd love for you to tell me what was heard, because I do want to know what. You don't have to tell me who heard or anything.
Sure.
But privately, I would like you to tell me what was heard, because if something was heard, there's only one person it could have been, and I do want to know what happened.
I will speak to this person and get their permission, and then yes, I will talk to you about that privately.
All right. So about me being kicked from the server for that's fine, but how do you intend on changing the way you go about removing mods in Discord itself? So are you aware of the way some mods have been reaching out to other mods that have been kicked?
I'm not.
Okay. So from the subreddit, I wasn't like paying super close attention to the subreddit, but from the subreddit, I did learn that there are
Person been removed.
Okay. Also, I wanted to bring up that there have also been from one of those mods messages sent to X mods, so like the mods were kicked and other mods would come in and would say things this would be very unprofessional about it. I could send you screenshots. I'm not trying to dox people or like say what their name is and stuff, but I could send you that, or I could tell you what I've seen. But the screenshots are on the Reddit, so it's not hard to find.
So my mods are they're misbehaved that are. I didn't fully understand.
Yeah, some of your mods, so mods that have been kicked, because there have been mods that are kicked.
Yep.
And some of the mods that are reaching out to those X mods, or one of the mods that I've seen, are being very unprofessional. I think it's important that in a safe place that you have mods that can be professional when reaching out to people.
Yes, okay, I understand that. I agree. This is something I tend to talk about specifically with the likes of Mama Moon, the likes of Kel. My mods are a reflection of me, and they need to have a professional manner. They cannot be rude to people here. Even if those people are breaking rules, they cannot be rude. They have to maintain a professional decorum, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you've answered a few of these questions that I have at the end. I wanted to ask about the tier system as well in your Discord. So from what I understand, people can pay to be at a higher tier where you basically have go on voice chats with them, if that's correct.
Yep. That's what it was. So
in my opinion, I think that definitely encourages people to form parasocial relationships with you, and to be encouraging that and then making money off them feels a little iffy to me. I don't love that.
Neither do I. Have canceled it.
Thank you. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing that the Reddit has been talking about. You liked a comment. Let me look at it. You liked a comment after the announcement of the accountability live that people wanted to have brought up. I can go look at it and tell you what it says. Sorry, just 1 second. You liked the comment that said, I just say after saying that you're going to take an accountability live, I think it's important that you don't just take things like that and publicly like things just because they make you feel good. I understand it makes you feel good, but you do have to be critical about yourself.
I agree, 100%. You're right.
All right, well, that's what I have.
I have a little bit of something. I owe you an apology, to say the least. First time we had a little encounter, I didn't do my due diligence, and I told you that I didn't do my due diligence, that I was going to do it the next time. And I dropped the ball both times. I did not handle the situation correctly on either account. And I'm sorry for that, Izzy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anything else you want to say?
No, that's all. Thank you.
You have a good one.
You too.
Bye. Okay. Oh, back to TikTok not bringing people up. How you doing, honey?
Hi, good. How are you?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
32.
32. Fantastic. And what would you?
Yeah, I won't take up too much of your time here. I see most people are coming up here and airing grievances about people on your panel and who you platform, and honestly, that's between you and your community, so I don't really care about that. I did want to address some really concerning behavior that I've seen from you specifically. A specific instance, actually, that I wanted to address. One time I scrolled into your live and you were trying to prove to the guest that you were a woman by kind of taunting him with your breasts. And when you did this, you grabbed your phone or your camera, whatever you were filming on, and held it upwards to show more cleavage. Well, when you did this, you were naked from the waist down, sitting there on live. And
Honey, you may remember I ended the live immediately when I noticed that.
yeah, let me finish.
We're not.
I wanted to discuss, I mean, there's a lot of things that different people have brought up that I agree with. I kind of want to ask, so, you know, you do have a big platform, number one, and I think I have seen people that, you know, are really maybe middle of the road, just trying to navigate and figure things out because they're uneducated or they don't know. And I think that you and people on your panel have been very like you dogpile on them and don't let them kind of come to an understanding. And if anything, I think that pushes people away from your community. And I think that's harmful, first of all. You know, especially when someone is truly coming to your lives, trying to get an understanding, trying to figure this out, and you guys just are hateful and mean and rude. I think that's uncalled for, first of all. And the second thing is you say you want ops to come in to be able to have these conversations, to debate, to talk about, you know, whatever you want to call it. But why do you not let people gift them? Like if there was an op and I was gifting them, I would get blocked or removed for gifting them.
I remember what you're talking about. That's the thing that I did for a while. And I don't do it anymore. I don't see it as a valuable thing. We don't. It's not a thing that we're going to do going forwards. We don't block gifters.
Yeah, like, Adora, like I haven't necessarily liked you, and that's fine. Like we don't have to agree, but on platforms, if we're going to have a conversation, and I see this on both sides. If you knock out all of your opposition and you block them just because they don't agree with you, that's not going to do anything for your platform. You're not, that's why people come to these lives, is to hear from both sides and to listen. And, and I've seen it on people's lives that I tend to agree. And I hope that, you can't control your panelists. I can say that, but in the same retrospect, if I was in one of my friends' lives and I did something wrong, I would fully expect them to call me out and say, hey, that's not appropriate. You shouldn't have done that. Going forward, it's a common respect thing. You are in control of your mods and the people that are on your panel to an extent. And you have to be able, for your platform only, to say, hey, this isn't right. We need to calm down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree. That's the plan moving forwards, is to make sure that we change the tone.
All right. Well, I wish you the best and everyone else. And remember, just because we disagree or we don't see things the same way doesn't mean that you're wrong. Doesn't mean that I'm wrong. We just see things differently, and we should be able to have a conversation about that.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you.
You have a good one.
Hi.
Already been a while.
It's been quite a while. So this is a lot. I am not up to speed about what is going on. It's a lot. For anybody who knows me, I
I appreciate you, but I need to be taking accountability right now. If you got some grievances to aim my way, please.
Yeah, I mean, I have some grievances. I have some grievances that, I am happy to talk to you about in private. I don't think that this is going to do it, but, I will say that I'm glad that you are taking accountability, and I am here if you need me.
Okay, thank you. Have a good one.
Hello, can you hear me?
Ken, how old are you, please?
I'm 34.
34. Fantastic. What would you like to say?
Well, Adora, I'm Oogie, and I simply wanted to say, like, with all due respect, that's what's up. You're coming up here to ask for, I guess, show people that you feel bad for what you've done, or maybe what your friends have done. However, I would like to say that this thing here, it was all about debating for me, and I wanted to go and debate you and whatnot, and then I jump up here and I try to debate you on something and I get kicked. And like, understand you have a platform, do your thing, but I have to say this, okay? And this is no disrespect to you, but I have to say this. Okay, there are females in the world without a diagnosis that we understand that have a say-so in this world as women, to listen to the ones that you are debating rather than just refute them. Because if you were to kick me right now as we were in the debate, most people in your life would go, "You won. We didn't finish our debate. We didn't talk about anything." As a matter of fact,
finish the discussions enough.
Exactly, which there wasn't an actual winner. There wasn't an understanding. You get where I'm going with this? So it's more or less like there's an objective reality in it, and no one gets to reach that reality if you disagree with the guest and then kick them out.
Sure, I agree with that.
And that goes for anyone else as well. So with that being said, of course, have your platform. Listen to your debaters as well as they listen to you. But I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning when Hope said, listen to women, man.
Okay. All right. Anything else you wanted to say?
Nope.
All right. Have a good one.
Hi, Adora.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of things.
One moment. I need
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I need to know how old you are.
Okay, I am 43.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, so the first thing is Mel and Reggie. They're basically running your life. They're just, I have wanted to go to talk to you so many times, but I've been so afraid because they're rude, they're mean, and so much more. And then my second one is basically people like get into a good conversation with you and then they're basically kicked because of a gift.
Okay. What would you suggest I do for that?
For the
All right. Anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Adora, how's it going? Not much. So I had a couple just two. So I'll be as quick as possible. Oh, sorry. 33.
Okay.
Yep. No, so I had two questions. So one, with the grievances, I think one of the things I think a lot of people would like is, I feel like a lot of the debaters that you feel are a bit more on the problematic side as far as like against your beliefs. I feel like those are the people that would be more important to have up on your panel rather than just people, agreeing with you. So for example, envy, I know that's a big debater that I know you guys have your differences, but I think that would be definitely one of those that would be important to you. Because that way you're getting two different sides, obviously, not just, going with agreeing with one side.
Okay.
The other
is I debate.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else you want to say? Sorry.
The only other thing I was going to say, and this is just me taking a piss, but I just wanted to say, could you please, just for all of us, just pluck your eyebrows? I know. I had to say it. Just. But that's it. That's all I had.
All right. Have a good one.
Yep.
Hello.
How you doing?
And how are you?
Doing fantastic. How old are you?
I'm 50 something.
All right, fantastic. What would you like to say?
Okay. I'm going to be fast because I know you got a lot of people probably wanting to come in here. Obviously, nobody could tell you who to have on your panel and when to have on your panel. I just want to say two things real quick because I've been following you. I've been on TikTok for a very long time, and you actually helped a relative of mine whose child was going through something and I know he can be rough, but there is one person who got to me because I'm getting a little shaky because my sister unalived herself. So it's something serious, okay? And I understand people get angry and want to say things. Listen to me, Adora. You don't need people to tell you who to have on your panel, but what you can do is tell your panel before they come on. Be careful, man. Watch what you say. You're going to hurt people. Talk to me for, just be, okay, Aaron, your friend Aaron, and it wasn't too long ago. I think it was last week. I had to step out of your live and just, I was having anxiety to the max. He was on your live, somebody was talking and not agreeing with him. Yeah, the guest was being a dick. Aaron starts screaming like a maniac and he was like, get the F off. Why don't you effing leave? You know what you could do? Jump out a window, go on a live yourself. And isn't he a therapist? Isn't he right? Doesn't he do something like that?
Aaron? Aaron?
Yes. You always.
Aaron is the therapist, yes.
And he told somebody, he was in a fit of rage and told a person that was trying to talk to you to go jump out a window, go on a live themselves. It was horrible. It was horrible. Like I said, not trying to tell you who to have on. This is your deal. You've been doing it for a long time, but just have them chill out a little bit, especially when it comes to
I
serious.
just want to make sure that we're certain that it was Aaron. I mean,
Yeah.
I do know that my friend Hull has said that.
And I'm telling you, I believe whoever is saying, I'm being honest. I never saw Hull. I've seen Hull be an ass. I mean, I've seen him get like, rawr. I've never heard Hull tell somebody to unalive. But yes, I would not come on here and tell you it was Aaron if it was not Aaron. I am 100% positive it affected me because like I said, talk about other people. I am telling you directly, your platform is very big. Like I said, you've helped somebody in my family personally. I'm just telling you, like I said, not to have who to have, who not to have, how to run your live. Just maybe please tell your panel, just be careful with the words that you use. That's all.
I agree with that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Bye.
Please, everyone, remember that this is a space to hold me accountable. That does include my panelists, but I cannot account for what happens off of my page without more evidence. So please, guys, the goal is to hold me accountable.
You hear me? I'm sorry.
How are you doing?
Hi. I just had not questions, but just a couple.
I need to know how old you are first.
Oh, I'm 22. I've been watching for I wouldn't say a while, but maybe like a little over 2 months. And my two biggest issues are race baiting. When you debate.
All right. Would you mind elaborating on that, please?
Yes, like when you compare certain things to segregation, and it just doesn't hold the same effects of it as to one had definite consequences and the other isn't. Like, I don't agree with segregating bathrooms, but I don't believe that people having issues with bathrooms is not segregation. It's weird to compare that to a historic event that doesn't hold any value for one or the other. And then my second issue is when you do compare it to racial issues and then you're not educated yourself on racial issues and you surround yourself with people who
Have a good one. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. How old are you, please?
I'm 25.
25. Fantastic. What would you like to say?
So I just kind of wanted to talk about like what the other person was kind of just talking about, but go a little bit further on that. Okay. So just like essentially what they were saying, because I've seen many times in your lives also where like you will bring up the whole like race thing, and if there's someone in the live or like in the comments saying like, oh, like you shouldn't bring that up, like, then it's like a panel of all white people basically saying like, oh, like, well, my black friend or like Mr. Jones or that like black girl, like you guys will literally like bring a black person like on the panel to kind of like co-sign like what you're saying if like a black person is saying they're uncomfortable by that, which I think is like a bit weird. And also I've seen like, well, is this just like for you or like,
sorry, I didn't get that last bit.
Like, is this just for like holding you accountable? Because like I've seen like Mel literally say like shit. Like she was like, oh, like I didn't even know like about the whole like BLM thing until like 2020. And like she's talked about like how she grew up like more conservative and stuff. So it is a bit weird like when people are like literally saying like, oh, like maybe you shouldn't compare certain things to race. Like, and it's literally a panel. Like most of your panels are all white and it will literally be people like in your panel being like, well, Mr. Jones or like this other black creator or this black creator said that we can say this and we can compare it to that. And like, don't you think it's like kind of weird to do that? Like,
I would agree that would be weird.
And I've seen that happen like multiple times on your panel.
Okay. When matters of race come up, what would you have us do? What would be a good thing for us to do instead?
Well, like I've only ever seen like the matter of race like come up where it's like someone on your panel is saying like, oh, well, like basically trying to like make the comparison of what black people went through like to the trans like struggle, which like I kind of see like what you guys are trying to do, but like the women like before me said, like it's a bit different. Like, and it is something like I support the trans community 100%. Like I'm not like a bigot. Like I 100%, like you're a woman 100%. I don't have like any qualms with you. I just kind of feel like it's a bit weird when people are like voicing their concerns about that and no one really seems to really care at all. And like, I mean, like this live's kind of about, I mean, like Reggie, Hull, Mel, like they're all the kind of rude and they jump on people when they're just kind of voicing their concerns, even if they're doing it in a not like mean way, if that makes sense.
Okay. So here's what I'm getting out of this. Stop comparing the trans struggle to the black struggle. They're not the same.
Unless it's like a black person on your panel like saying that, then I mean, then obviously like it's harder to kind of like refute that, like because then it's coming from a black person who maybe understands that a bit more. But like I do think it's weird to kind of like call in the whole like, oh, let me like call in like one of the black creators to like talk about, because then it does kind of come off as like using them as like your little token in a way. And then also the whole thing with tokenizing as well. I've seen many times on your live where like Mel will say something to someone like who someone maybe comes up and like talks about their friend and is like, oh, basically you can't tokenize, but like literally Mel's whole like account is about her daughter. So I mean, she's really one to talk about like tokenizing because literally her whole like platform is tokenizing her trans daughter. So I think that's a bit weird as well. If someone wants to come up and talk about their trans friend.
Mel's daughter does not have her own voice. Mel is the voice of her daughter. And
so is that not like tokenizing in a way? I mean, she's like making money and has a platform off of her daughter's name. And she's not trans herself.
So what Mel's position is a valuable position because she is the voice of her daughter. She has permission from her daughter to do what she's doing. Trans children as a whole don't have the same voice that adults do. So there is value in what Mel is doing.
Is it really value? Because like another thing about Mel is obviously she's like a pretty privileged woman. Like I've seen like, you know, videos like you visited her, like her house looks pretty nice. So like for her to kind of like sit up on these lives like all the time and kind of like I've seen like trans women like come up and be like, you know what, like the way that Mel handles things is not really good for our community. And she like combats that. I remember even one time I saw a trans woman come up on either Mel's live or yours. And I remember Mel literally at the end of that was literally like, oh, I don't even know why I do this anymore. Cause I mean, I think the trans woman literally like told her to like shut the F up and said that you're not trans. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, like Mel literally moved for her trans daughter to be in a better position. Not a lot of trans people have that same privilege. So for her to kind of like sit on here and make people maybe even have a more negative view of trans people, like how is that even really a good thing? Because like obviously like her daughter doesn't have to go through the same thing. And it's like you're kind of hindering a community that doesn't have the same privilege as you, as like obviously a pretty privileged, like well-off white woman who can like literally move to like a safer state for your daughter. Like a lot of other trans people don't have that same privilege, and you're making basically like trans people not really look good. Like someone else came in here and said, essentially a lot of people come in your life like maybe on the fence, and they will leave your life feeling more like pushed to the other side. And like it doesn't really affect someone like Mel because she can literally move to another state and like be in a better position.
Is there anything else you would like to say?
I mean, I just kind of wanted to know like what you thought about that.
Yeah, I shared my opinion earlier. I believe we recognize that we have privilege. I have privilege. Mel has privilege. We both recognize that. We try to help. That's our goal, is always to help, trying to learn and to do better so we can do better moving forwards. The goal is to advocate, and we're here to try to learn how to do that better than we are.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, no hate towards you. Like, I don't hate anything. Like, I support trans people, so I just wanted to like give my 2 cents and possibly like try to help you. That's all. But have a nice night.
Gonna take another break, guys. I'll be back. Probably gonna go till 9 o'clock. Hello, Maverick. How you doing?
I'm alright. How are you, Adora?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
I'm 23.
Fantastic. All right. What would you like to say?
The main reason I wanted to come up was for my friend VHS Brat. I'm sure you can recognize that.
I do.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. She can't come up because she's blocked, which I've been like, this whole thing has been like running around my mind for the however long it's been going on, because I've been watching you for probably it's coming up on a year, I think, because I'm almost a year post-op, but yeah, so the Reddit, for me personally, if it was like an actual hate page, I wouldn't have been a part of it. I saw it as a place where we could go and talk about things that we weren't happy with without the like, what's it called? Like without the chance of getting blocked or muted by a mod type thing. So that's why I went in and I was just saying some of my opinions, like no hate towards you at all. I wouldn't be watching you if I didn't like you. And I'm sure a lot of people in the Reddit feel the same way. And I'm sorry about my voice shaking. But yeah, VHS Brat, like she's done a lot for you, and she was like one of your first mods, I've been told. And it was like she was kind of just thrown to the dirt after posting one screenshot that had no personal information. It just said that you weren't going to go live today. That's all she posted. And then Kapow messaged her a really nasty message, which I'm not happy about. And then I was actually one of the people on the Reddit that they tried to intimidate us by using our TikTok names as Reddit accounts. accounts, and that was like scary because I don't know how they found my TikTok account from my anonymous.
From the mod team, we are all going to work to do better. We've all got something to work on, and we'll do better going forwards.
Okay, I think a good thing for, at least for me, like talking for VHS would be an apology and maybe like a full explanation. And
as far as how these people were found, it was through their digital footprint. It was through posts they made, through comparing TikTok posts to Reddit posts. It was not through IP addresses or anything like that.
okay, well, yeah, okay. Well, for me, that would make sense maybe, but like other people, it was completely anonymous. So like, I was talking with a lot of people that this happened to, and they were like, I have literally no idea how they found me. And it was like actually scary, even though it was just my TikTok name. And like they were posting like.
Sure, again, Maverick, the person responsible for that has been removed. And again, it was not through any kind of hacking or IP tracking. It was through checking people's Reddit posts and checking their TikTok posts.
Okay. All right.
Removed from the mod team, I want to be clear.
Okay, then like, yeah, we can move on after this. I'm just worried that like people were told that it was VHS who did that, and I'm telling you right now, it was not, because she was one of them that was targeted. But I just want to say one last thing, just like for me personally. I've been watching you for a year, like I said, and like before, it was about the advocating, but just as an outsider, I think it's been more about views and like how many cash app to kicks I can get and like stuff like that. And I still watch, which is my fault, like if it's affecting me, but I just don't like being debated against for profit. That's all.
Guys, I am taking one more. One more is all I have the energy for. Hello, Entrapta.
How are you doing?
You're all right.
You have to turn my audio up. Can you talk again? I couldn't hear you.
I'm doing all right. I hope you're doing okay as well.
I have a lot of anxiety. So to start out, I'd kind of like to frame what I have to say a bit. But first, I'd like to just ask if you have like a scratch pad or something, just because this is difficult for me, and I know that you're like receiving a lot of information, and I want you to have like an opportunity to like take things away from. Okay. So, in sharing my experiences, and I just want to be upfront, I kind of prepared something separately from all of this. It was coincidental that I don't know. Anyway, I'm just gonna go into it. In sharing my experiences, I do so with a hope for understanding and empathy towards all involved. You were someone I considered a friend. You invited me to become a moderator for your platform. I agreed because I believed in what you were doing. I believed in your advocacy and that you were truly advocating for a better, safer world for all trans people. And I still believe that's your intention. I'd like to provide some context about myself. For the impact of my words and actions. And I'm committed to accountability myself for any harm I've caused anyone. My aim has always been to contribute positively to our community, and to this end, I meticulously seek clarity. I reflect on and adjust my communication style, often seeking feedback to ensure my intentions are clear and constructive. For example, I regularly use tools like ChatGPT with prompts like improve this to be more effective and to be more likely to be well received. I deeply care about the impact I have on others. Despite my efforts, people associated with you have described me as unsafe and harmful to all I may encounter. Rather than being solely rooted in my actions, I believe these perceptions are based, at least partially, within a broader context of resistance to change and accountability, particularly around issues of inclusion within our community spaces. I am sharing my experiences surrounding my departure from your Discord server to provide transparency. All of this is to raise fundamental questions about harm prevention and mutual accountability. It's become clear that your platform has unfortunately not lived up to this vision. Despite your intentions, your platform's reach and influence have led to unintended consequences that affected many within our community. It's important to acknowledge efforts made, such as the portions of your income you donate to various causes. However, the contrast between those gestures and the life as we discuss these things and strive for accountability, both in our personal exchanges and as representatives of the transgender community, Please remain compassionate and open-minded. This isn't about casting blame where it shouldn't be, but about urging a reevaluation of how platforms like this genuinely serve the community. The essence of providing a safe space goes beyond intention. It requires continuous reflection and action to ensure the space is inclusive, supportive, and truly beneficial to all, particularly those least privileged and most vulnerable among us. As a prominent figure, you hold a unique position of influence, and with it a heightened responsibility to the community. This includes not just personal accountability, but also ensuring your team and the people that you platform embody the values of inclusivity and empathy, particularly through intersectional lens that recognizes the diverse experiences within our community, especially in regard to segments that are disproportionately impacted by harm. So to provide some additional context, similar to Izzy, I came up earlier tonight. I was that second admin that got added. And in my course of being an admin, I tried to bring up certain concerns. And I'd like to read some things that I tried to share with you in the past, but for whatever reason they were well received at first. But so September 7th, 2023, Adora, I'm exhausted. It appears not everyone on the admin mod team are on the same page about what safe space actually means and who it should serve within Best Friend Squad. Every time I propose concrete steps to truly create a safe and inclusive environment for all, it seems I'm met with opposition. We are asking the bare minimum when we request that people merely acknowledge the definition of racism. This is especially crucial considering the continual struggles that non-white people face every single day. I'm not sure about the other mods' level of familiarity with anti-racism or the dynamics of creating safe spaces for marginalized groups, but asking someone to acknowledge the basic definition of racism should not be seen as an excessive demand. Furthermore, it's inappropriate to police my tone, especially when I'm taking extra measures like up to take my passion for social justice and actually doing the work to make sure other groups are included and feel safe in spaces like this is personal disrespect, and twisting my intent as if I'm trying to be arrogant or condescending. I don't know what to do or say to move forward from this. Also, I don't know if there are any non-white people on the mod team, but we're literally arguing over whether it's too much to include the mere definition of racism in the questionnaire because it might be too much for someone to have to read at once. There doesn't seem to be any introspection as far as how incredibly fucked up and disrespectful that is to any non-white people in the space currently or who will ever enter the space, such as the mod team channels, or how disproportionate it is to the lived experiences of people who actually experience racism. Something to think about if you intend to have don't intend to have an all whitey mod team or coddle white fragility in your spaces. Is it okay if I read your response, but maybe leave out the some of the personal things?
Go for it.
Because we had, just for context, we had personal like friendship conversations in some of the conversations about the Discord. So you responded, I straight up want the racism question in the questionnaire. I think it was a fantastic inclusion. This is Adora speaking, and will not consider any proposals to remove it from white people. I see how much work you've put into making sure this is a safe place for all. I haven't heard the conversation yet. And then I added some links to resources talking about tone policing autistic people, and you responded, Adora, thank you for the resources. I need time to process everything. I responded, I'm so sorry. So this is a couple days later at this point. So the next day I had provided those links to resources. Then on the 9th, thank you for the resources. I need time to process everything. That was Adora again. And then I responded, I'm so sorry you've had to deal with all of this. It's clear I am not welcome. So just ignore all of this. I am sorry I ever joined. I am sorry I ever tried to help. I clearly just fucked everything up. I just left. Please forget I ever existed. And Adora, we continued to be friends until, I don't know, like a couple of weeks ago on Christmas, I think I asked you, I said like I felt I had enough space and I wanted to rejoin. And Adora, you after saying I was always welcome and that we were friends, and as we continued to talk as if we were friends, and I would congratulate you on your new boobs because that was super awesome. You then said you didn't remember the context of why I left. You asked me to recount what my experience was. And you did eventually let me back in. But you treated me as if I was banned and had to like justify coming back in. You asked me to you acted like you didn't remember anything, and instead of scrolling up in the chat and reading those messages, reading the context, and like I understand a couple of months had gone by, and then you let me back in only to the same morning that I'm back in your server waiting for you to go live, tell me that you were reversing your decision. Again, because I had harmed these other people. And all the while, I don't understand how I've harmed anyone, because all I ever wanted to do was try to create a safer space, and I I challenged other people. I challenged the way other people thought about things and like authority within the space, and like it was a new dynamic where we were trying to figure out where we all stood with each other and how we were going to operate as a team. And I get that I don't like, and I don't know, I don't know. And I'm sorry to Izzy. Like, I've already messaged Izzy, and I'm sorry, because, like, I didn't handle any, like, none of us handled that well. You know, we were all not very nice to each other, but, like, how do we come out of this and do better? And like, that's what I was trying to do. I brought up things like someone suggested earlier, having an election, and that's the stuff I was trying to do, Adora. You have to remember our messages. I proposed having a group of trusted, advocates who would vet other mods and elect people, and to be mods, and to have those systems of accountability, and it just all got destroyed.
This is a perfect example of why we need to set up a news. I'm not leading the Discord well at all. And that something has to change. Can people not hear me? One moment. Everything, I want to be clear to everyone, absolutely everyone. Everything Entrapted just said is 100% true. Everything. I didn't handle the situation well at all. It's the same as it was with Izzy, in that I promised that I would do things the right way, and then I didn't. It's one of the core things that needs to change going forward. There has to be something else in place. For this, it's not just making a new system and then passing the responsibility off to other people. I'm not following through on the things that I'm saying, and that has to change.
I want us to have a supportive community. Or terrible or evil or vile. I don't want to be demonized as that. I want us to be a cohesive community that can support each other and rise up against the challenges that we face collectively. I want that. That's the vision that I had going into all of this. And we're just eating each other alive, and we've got to stop. We need to learn how to hold each other accountable, and not just hold each other accountable, but hold ourselves accountable. have to learn how to do that as a community. And it's something that we have to do together. We gotta stop with this cancel nonsense. We have to, I had a vision of people coming together and creating an even larger platform. People, they're shitting on you for doing that thing with your inner circle. And it's like, yeah, sure, if that's for personal gain. But when I first started working with you, Adora, I had a vision of monetizing the Discord or having opportunities for people to contribute more, people who are able, and then having that be a way to provide, even more resources and support to people in need. We have an opportunity to utilize the platform to do so much good and not just donate it to Trevor Project or these other great platforms and resources that help people. So
what would you propose then? Because I've tried to help people out directly. So what do you propose?
I mean, I see you flying all over and you have these vacations, but I mean, you could go and meet with, why don't you try to reach out to someone with the Trevor Project and invite them onto the live and talk about some of the work they're doing and try to get people plugged in on how we can, how we can support organizations like that. And, just open up conversations for how can the platform be used to do more than it is outside even TikTok, within the Discord, because that's something we can't ask, anyone to do for us. It's something that we have to continually work on and reflect on and make sure that we're, receiving feedback and not just receiving feedback, but acting on it. Because, this doesn't even matter, Adora, but it's a nice gesture. But what matters is the action that comes out of this. What you're going to do to make change, to make sure that there are mechanisms for feedback and structure and checks and balances in place so that people don't get hurt, and that these sorts of platforms are used to support the community rather than weaponized against people.
I agree.
I'm sorry for monologuing so much. I know people hate the sound of my voice and everything and all of the things people say about me. But I care and I really genuinely I know I've said harsh things to you because I was hurt, and I want to apologize for that and how I've impacted you and the other things that you've been going through on top of all of this, and your personal life and everything. Like we all have so much going on, and we need to be kinder to each other. And sometimes we have to address the harsh realities and the harsh feedback and everything. But when you are trying to be real with someone and dish harsh realities and everything, you do it with compassion at least. I know we can't necessarily always expect and ask that of opposition, but within our community, we
fucked up bad multiple times. Not really showing an ability to learn from the mistakes that I'm making on Discord. It's something that I'm going to need help with. And I'm going to do what I have to do to turn that around. And I'm so sorry that I'm sorry for the way I treated you in Trapta. I was out of line, to say the least. It was rude, unprofessional, unbecoming of someone who's trying to advocate for this community. I'm sorry. You don't owe me acceptance of that. At all. No one here does.
we owe it to the community, though. Like, if we want a community, we owe it to the community. I mean, if anyone cares and wants a community, and I get not everyone does, and you know what, like, it is what it is, but for those of us that want a community, that want to build each other up, that want to support each other, like, that's what that looks like, okay? Like,
I'm gonna move on now, Entrapta.
okay, thank you.
I know how much strength it came up to come up here and say what you said. So, thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Have a good time.
You too. Bye. All right. That's it, guys. I'm done. I've done all I can. I took taking notes. I have plenty of stuff to look over, plenty of stuff to consider for how I'm going to approach things going forwards.